one to get past the defence that's conceded fewer goals than anyone else. Darren Jackson made his debut for Dundee United, having joined them, a very expensive buy from Newcastle United, and the great expectations for him. Peter Grant was back for Celtic after a 3-month layoff, and it was good to see him. Jock Brown now takes up the story right at the start of what proved to be one of the most controversial matches of the season.
So perfect conditions for another crunch match in the Premier Division. Celtic coming back to Dundee for the fourth time this season after 3 defeats, 2 against Dundee United, 1 in the league, 1 in the Skull Cup, and 1 league defeat against Dundee up the road. But that was during their indifferent spell of form early in the season. They're now right back to something approaching their best. United too, enjoying an excellent spell, second top of the league, and very anxious to keep the pressure on Rangers. Belfast getting back, and Paul Hegarty lofting it forward. Headed down by Bailey, straight to Morris. Aiken is caught late by McInally. Jim McInally, a former Celtic player and teammate of Roy Aiken, crunching into Roy Aiken there. Challenge came from Jackson on Burns. There's Derek White. There's McStay. Jackson and White clash. White took a knock. Logan plays it back, and Derek White has still not recovered from that very firm challenge from Darren Jackson. White looking anxiously towards the bench. The referee checking that he's all right. Pat Bonner taking plenty of time about the kick-out. Billy McNeil's on his feet, looking at Derek White anxiously. And now the referee has held play up because Derek White is clearly in some difficulty. No question about that challenge being a foul. There were 2 very determined players, Derek White and Darren Jackson, going for that 50-50 ball. Jackson won it, and White took that knock around the left ankle. Brian Scott, the physio, checks on Derek White and returns him to his central defensive post. And an immediate change being made by United. Well, that's quite remarkable. The 5th minute of the match, referee Mike McGinley from Clydebank sees Darren Jackson depart and Dave Beaumont come on in his place. Gallagher has found space. Well tackled by Bailey. Beaumont picks it up. Gallagher again. Mathalainen. Turned back by White, and Bonner comes to claim it. Plenty of defence and depth there from Celtic. Lots of cover. Aiken calling for the ball on the right side of the Celtic midfield. Header by Malpass. Bailey going up with Gallagher. The cover provided by White. There's Chris Morris. Good play from McKinley. This is Malpass winning the throw off Morris. United have made a very determined start to the match, carrying the fight to Celtic right from the opening whistle. There's Neary. Malpass plays it through, and White is there for Celtic. Now Burns. Good running by McStay, and he's taken out of the play by David Neary. The referee allows play to continue. Well, that certainly was controversial. A race for the ball in midfield, and this time there's no question about the free kick. It's Peter Grant who goes down. Billy McKinley was the culprit, going in high on Grant. Well, there's 2 very heavy tackles, one penalised and one not penalised. Billy McKinley is now being warned sternly by referee McGinley, but Celtic were the victims on both occasions. Paul McStay sprinting for this ball loose in midfield. David Neary trying to get back. That appeared to me to be a clear trip, but the referee allowed play to continue. But he certainly stopped the proceedings with this crunching effort from Billy McKinley on Peter Grant. McGee beaten by Hegarty. There's McInally, fine piece of play. Now Bowman. And the ball held there in the legs of Bowman, and Bowman is very angry indeed about Mark McGee's attentions. Well, referee Mike McGinley suddenly finds himself with a very tough match to handle indeed. Bowman remains calm enough, but he certainly was unhappy about Mark McGee as he held the ball between his legs, and McGee tried to winkle the ball free. It's Paul McStay. There's Aiken. The challenge came from McKinley. Morris lofts it forward. McAvenny in the corner of the box. Halted by Neary, and Hegarty's clearance finds Peter Grant. An easy one in the end for Thompson. Celtic hitting back with a vengeance. Was beautifully taken down by Gallagher. Allowed to turn by Morris. You may regret that. And fine play by Grant in defence. Applause from the Celtic fans for Peter Grant. Very much a favourite for the Parkhead faithful. Headed away by Hegarty.
Ladies and gentlemen, the United substitution is
Grant now to Barnes.
Over the pitch, number 2, Roman.
Turned out by Kevin Gallagher. This is Barnes. Hegarty going up well. There's Malpass. This one is going forward. The dummy came from McAvenny. The finish from McStay. Oh, what a goal that could have been. Paul McStay coming within inches. But it was all down to the dummy as the ball came forward. Look at McAvenny leaving that, deceiving the entire United defence. McStay is through on the keeper. The shot is angled just wide. There's McAvenny, and played in early by Morris towards Barnes. Breaks back for McGee. Bowman quickly in on Anton Bowman. There's McGee at the edge of the box. Fine effort! Brilliantly beaten away by Thompson, asking questions of his defenders, and well he might. The simplest of opportunities, a throw to McGee with lots of space around the box, turned like fly with that searing volley, which was well saved by Thompson. So just a couple of minutes remaining in what has been a hectic first half as United come forward again. There's McInally trying to catch out Pat Bonner with the Lone Ranger. Touched on by Grant. McInally wins it for United. Pass from Hegarty too long for Patalainen. There's McKinley. Under pressure, but reacting very well indeed. He looks so assured and composed for once a young. There he releases Patalainen. Turned away by White before Gallagher can reach it. Patalainen waits for the Billy McKinlay corner kick. That appeared to skid off the head of Hegarty towards Bonner. Well taken by the keeper, right at that near post. And there goes the half-time whistle. A rough, tough first half with some physical play simmering all the way through. Mark McGee very much involved in the action. He was the player who almost got the only goal of the first half with a tremendous turn shot on the volley, which was beaten away by Billy Thompson. So the score sheet remains blank, but there's lots of action to come. It's Dundee United 0, Celtic 0. Line up for this period, they have Joe Miller and Andy Walker available, so some attacking players available to bring on as the game goes on. United, of course, having committed both their substitutes owing to the injuries to Darren Jackson and Dave Bowman early on. Bowman with McGee. Derek White playing it on. Here's Malpass. So sure-footed. Morris nodding it into no man's land. It's filled there by McKinley. Gallagher towards McInally. That's for Patalainen. And well taken by Pat Bonner. Excellent goalkeeping by Bonner. Gallagher goes down winded as he challenged there. And a fine move. The ball was bobbling about around the edge of the box. Nodded on there by Kevin Gallagher. Then it came through to Patalainen. You can see him trying to lob Pat Bonner out, stretch that left hand to catch the ball. There's Aiken. McAvenny. Now pass, chest it down, but he finds McStay closing in very rapidly. McStay battling hard for Celtic. Here's Neri. That goes, it will be a throw to United. The ball is still in play. No one through the middle of United. It's Derek White and Tommy Barnes. The wind carrying the ball away for the goal. Now McKinley for United. He has Divojevic on the right. He has Patalainen on the left. Superbly angled cross and well claimed by Bonner. Now a chance for Celtic on the break. United a bit thin in defence for the moment. There's Paul McStay. Switching it to the far side to Roy Aiken. Well, he didn't get the angle he wanted in that header. Made it easy for Billy Thompson. Celtic certainly got players forward quickly on that break. Bonds plays it back. Here's Derek White. Here's McAvenny with the shadow David Murray. Morris comes up in support. Good play from Morris. And that was angled on by Jim McInally's defensive effort. Good catch by Billy Thompson. Celtic's throw. There's Mark McGee. Stopped by McInally. There's Kevin Gallagher. McKinley played it through the channel, inside left channel for Gallagher. Pouring into the box. Penalty kick has been given. Now that is certainly controversial. Penalty kick to Dundee United as Gallagher goes down. And I wonder if the referee was deceived by the angle. Look at this again as Gallagher was sprinting through the inside left channel, followed by Bailey. Now the question is, did Gallagher stumble or was he fouled by Bailey? It looked as though Gallagher stumbled without being touched. So a moment of high drama here at Tannadice. Certainly looked to me as though Kevin Gallagher stumbled unaided by Bailey. But the referee saw it from a different angle, he saw it differently, and a penalty kick it is. It'll be taken by Miksu Patalainen, just 21 years old, a Finnish international. Intense atmosphere, striding forward, sending Bonner the wrong way and pulling the ball into the opposite corner. There's Bailey's header, played forward by Divojevic. The ball is out, it's a throw to United. Anton Rogan clearly upset with that decision made by the linesman. David Morris from Aberdeen waving him away. There's Paul Hegarty. Now Gallagher. Great turn by Gallagher! And a brilliant save by Pat Bonner. Well, here was Gallagher again in his press. Look at the way he controlled this. Turned on a sixpence and drilled in the shot, which Bonner took at full stretch. Grant. Won by Divojevic again. Derek White lofting it forward. Moment again, turning it away. High into the covered terracing. Long throw from Miller, taken away by Hegarty. There's McGee. Well, this certainly appeared to catch the United defence by surprise. Joe Miller's throw, a very long one indeed for such a small player. Hegarty won it. Header reached Mark McGee. He tried to turn the shot on target, but couldn't quite make it. There's McAvenny. Paul McStay. McAvenny. And it's David Neary again who blocked the shot. A very good effort by McAvenny. Joe Miller. Bailey challenging. Got to the ball first, but under pressure from Thompson, couldn't direct the header downwards. Joe Miller back to Rogan. 4 men now committed to attack for Celtic. Miller, McAvenny, McGee and Walker. Here's Miller. Taking on Beaumont. Going tackled by Beaumont. Roy Aiken in the box. So is Rogan. Won by Neary. There's Paul McStay. Great effort from McStay. Showing tremendous awareness there as the ball was controlled in his chest, resisting a temptation to pass wide to the left and rifling that shot just past the post. There's Hegarty and McKinnon. Katalainen with Malpass supporting that for Gallagher. Great play from Dundee United on the break. Taking on Bailey and brought down at the byline. Rush challenged that by Bailey. Gallagher appeared to be carrying the ball over for a goal kick in any event. The big centre-half lunged in with a challenge. A free kick to United. Paul Hegarty is up, looking for the goal which will clinch the match for United. Jim McInally will take it. No one there. The Celtic defence is transfixed. There's no one there at all across the 6-yard box. It's kept in play by Patalainen. Bailey tried to scramble the ball clear. It spun off his head into the corner. Here's Derek White. Behind McStay. Shot there, played in by McAvenny. Great effort from Frank McAvenny. A snapshot from fully 30 yards. The ball came from Paul McStay, and Thompson was scrambling. So Miller's corner. Well taken again by Billy Thompson. A terrific performance in defence from Billy Thompson and the United defenders. And there goes the final whistle. Dundee United are the winners by 2 goals to 0. Mike Bailey involved in both goals. Firstly penalised for the penalty kick for the foul on Kevin Gallagher. I thought he was unlucky on that one. Patalainen scored his 11th goal of the season, and then an own goal right at the end from Bailey, making the scoreline look flattering for United. In the end, United remain in second place. They're the winners. It's Dundee United 2, Celtic 0.
Morris, how significant was that victory, you think, for Dundee United?
Very significant. I think it was a 4-pointer today. We had a very good victory against Rangers, and then we followed up with beating Hibs. And today, I think if we had lost it, we would have took a lot out of the 2 wins.
Now, you've been here quite a long time now, although you're not very old, I'm sure you'll agree. How do you rate this team and the chances of this team in the League Championship race against previous sides you played in?
They're a very young team, that's one thing for them. They've got very good players, young players, Billy McKinley, Alan Preston, who wasn't playing today. So I would say we don't have the depth of pool, but we never really have. The year we won the league, we only played with 13 players, so I'd probably say this is one of the better teams. Although this year might not be their best year, you know, they could develop in later years.
There was some criticism perhaps from some of the fans, I think, at the fact that United seemed to be on the receiving end for the second half, and yet you win 2-0. Do you see it the same way?
Well, we're playing against the wind. The Celtic were always going to pressure us, so I think that's probably true. Although we prefer to play against the wind.
Do you also prefer to play with Kevin Gallagher up front on that kind of form?
He's a bit special, isn't he? He's rather quick. When he's playing like that, he's unbelievable. Unstoppable, actually.
But again, from the international point of view, you're off to Italy in midweek with David Neri, who played with you today. And international players appear to do very well.
Yes, we'll enjoy our games. The Celtic games are the better games to play in, so it suits us right down to the ground.
And can United win the league?
Yes.
Confident Maurice Malpass. Well, as the fans of both clubs slipped out into the night yesterday at Tannadice, I don't think there was much doubt about the major talking point in the tremendous match, and that was the penalty that referee Mike McGinley gave in the 64th minute, from which United, as you saw, scored and went one up. After that, it looked as if there was only going to be one winner, despite Celtic's brave fight all the way to the finish. Jock, at the time you said that you didn't think that it was a penalty. With the advantage of hindsight, having seen it again many times, both in the mobile van afterwards yesterday and in the studio, do you still feel that way?
Well, I'm out on a limb a little, Arthur, because I thought at the time, instantly, that it was not a penalty. I thought that Kevin Gallagher, as he made the run, caught his studs in his right boot and went over. I didn't think Bailey's right leg reached him. That certainly was the way I saw it at the time. I then saw the tape after the match and began to change my mind, and some of the boys, of course, in the crew were giving me a bit of stick for that. But I've now watched it again so many times this afternoon, and what I'm absolutely certain about is that there's a grave doubt about it still. I'm turning back to the view that maybe it wasn't.
Here it comes. Well, Gallagher doing what Malpass says he does best, which is very, very quick, right through, and Bailey having to make a challenge. He tries unsuccessfully outside the box to make contact, and there it is.
One thing I would make clear, though, Arthur, I'm in no doubt at all that Kevin Gallagher did not dive. I'm sure that when he went down, if he wasn't caught by Lex Bailey's right leg, he went down because he stumbled. There was no acting about it, as far as I'm concerned. I thought he was genuine about it, but I really am still remaining to be convinced that Bailey's right leg reached him in order to bring him down. And we can look at this so many times to check this. You see, at that point, when there's a bit of leaning going on, I would have thought at that point perhaps there's more danger, but I'm still not certain that the boot reached him. The referee, incidentally, quite interestingly, was somewhere behind Lex Bailey on his angle. And that brings up another interesting aspect, I think, as you know, of the difficulty of a referee being at one angle, seeing an incident and coming up with an instant decision.
Yes. Well, whether we like it or not, or whether the fans like it or not, the referee says it's a penalty, and that's it. Oddly enough, looking back at our files, on the 1st of October, Hibernian met Celtic. Now, this was a penalty coming up now, which you thought was a penalty, but the referee, by coincidence, Mr. McGinley, didn't give.
Well, that's right. That was Alan Snedden going in and Frank McAvenny. Now, at this stage, there was 10 minutes gone. The score was 0-0. Remember, Hibs scored 3 very quickly afterwards. I thought that angle showed quite clearly that McAvenny was fouled. But what I would like to say quite clearly, though, about Mike McGinley, I thought Mike McGinley had an excellent game yesterday. And while we may agree to differ slightly on the penalty incident, no doubt I thought he handled the game very well indeed. And I thought he handled the game at Easter Road very well too. And it just shows the difficulty, I think, for referees. It's such a tremendously important decision he's got to take. He's got one chance at it, and he takes it there, and he's right or he's wrong.
Well, he's like commentators, he gets one chance and that's it. Jock, thank you for the moment. Well, the 5 Premier League matches all produced home wins, with a number of players making their mark. Ian McCall in from the cold to score for Rangers against Hibs. A debut goal for Craig Robertson at Pittodrie, where St Mirren played, as you heard, for 70 minutes with goalkeeper Campbell Money off the park injured. 17-year-old Alan McLaren put Hearts in front against Hamilton, and Steve Kirk's goal